What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Trust the Bank podcast. It's the weekend. It's a live show, so make sure to check out the podcast platforms. Give a review on Apple Podcasts if you're listening on there. We're doing a giveaway at 50 reviews on Apple. So, few topics to talk about. First off, Lamar Jackson is, I don't know if I want to say LeBron Jamesing, but he's dropping an exclusive interview on his media company, his publishing company's YouTube page. Basically, he's making a YouTube video, and he's dropping an exclusive interview. It's unknown exactly what the topic of this interview is and the questions that will be asked. Only one thing has been asked, and it's basically we know that they'll talk about the pro style offense. That's like the only thing that's been released throughout this whole process, but I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's March Madness brackets are doing okay, unlike mine. But you know what? We're excited to be here. And, in other news, Odell Beckham Jr.'s talked about his contract. Maybe the Ravens could potentially offer him something there. And then also there's, Brandon Cooks got traded the NFL draft. Unfortunately, Dwayne McBride, my favorite running back in the draft class, is not going to be at UAB's pro day. And Tori says you guys can't tell when you're being trolled. No, we're not being trolled. Lamar's not trolling the media by publishing it. He's controlling the narrative. That's a very different thing, and Lamar Jackson's getting ahead of it. He's not trolling the media. I don't think he's going to go out there and say, I'm signing a contract with, I don't know, whatever team, the San Francisco 49ers. I don't think that's anything like he's going to be doing. But Joshua, what are you thinking about this whole Lamar Jackson exclusive interview drop?
I mean, I definitely feel like Lamar Jackson, not only controlling his own narrative, but also showing that, his fondness and all his other ideas outside of the game of football. I mean, he wanted to be his own businessman. He's looked up to LeBron. He said at the barbershop LeBron's show at the shop. He talked about how he's done certain business ventures and things of that nature, and how he just he want to pretty much follow him in his footsteps as far as business. And I mean, he's taking those steps. He has the restaurant down there in Papano. Was it Papano, Florida? I could be saying it wrong.
Yeah.
Papano, excuse me, y'all, if I'm saying it wrong. Now he's getting into the entertainment side of things. Do I feel like this could possibly be that interview of how LeBron did it before he went to Miami? By all means, I feel like this could possibly be that groundbreaking interview where he says where he puts everything out there. And I honestly, I feel like the fans to a degree deserve to know it, but also it shouldn't still have to be him clearing the air for certain situations, but he's doing it anyway. Not for us per se, but for himself. So y'all understand, the type of man he is, which is a great thing. I'm looking forward to seeing it and seeing what he has to say. Hopefully, he's getting questions asked where he doesn't have to dodge them. He just gets straightforward answers since this is his own thing.
Yeah, and I would assume he wrote the questions. And honestly, I don't even I'm really curious to see the process of it. Is he going to have someone there? Is it going to be, I mean, it could be it could be a friend of his, asking the questions, or it could be, Jamison Hensley. It's not going to be Jamison Hensley. That's more of a joke. But it could be, some reporter that he likes maybe, and he's like, hey, here's some questions, if you want to ask me. I doubt it's something like that. I bet it's, somebody that he knows or somebody in his inner circle asking those questions that he definitely wrote. But I think it's a smart move by him because he's kind of been screwed over in this offseason, but I don't even know if it's necessarily screwed over. He got put in a unlucky time to be a free agent, or I guess to have a chance of being a free agent. The Ravens tagged him, but it's not a quarterback centric offseason, because the last year was a terrible draft class for quarterbacks, which is why so many quarterbacks were getting these big deals. The teams that needed quarterbacks, they were like, bro, we're not drafting Malik Willis. like we're not getting him first round. He's not that good. The only quarterback that went first 2 rounds was Kenny Pickett, and he went late first. And then third round, we started to get some guys like Desmond Ridder. I think Sam Howell went the 4th. But now it's like, okay, this is a decent quarterback draft class. It's not amazing. I don't love any of these guys. I don't think
it's like 6 people that can go first, or 5.
I think it's 5 people that people have as potential first round picks. And, if the man out of Tennessee, Malik Hooker, or Hooker.
Hendon
Is it
Hooker.
Malik? Hendon Hooker. I was like, it's not Malik Hooker. Hendon Hooker. If he hadn't gotten hurt, it could have been, one more. But it's just like, okay. Now teams that are like needing a quarterback, like we can draft one. So Lamar Jackson's in this weird spot, and everybody's, putting all these things out there. And I think Lamar Jackson doesn't want to have the media mess up his story because, y'all know how it is. We watch the press conferences that Lamar Jackson gives, and he'll say something, and then I'll see an article from like ESPN, and it'll be saying something. I'm like, that's not really what he said. But they take like something so small and out of context that people just start running with it. And I think Lamar Jackson, by doing this, he's going to be able to control everything that's coming out. He's going to be able to edit. If he says something, he's like, hey, that could be taken out of context. He can take that out and he can say exactly what he needs to say. It could be completely scripted, and that's fine because it's basically him making a statement to, we don't know who. Maybe it's to the fans, maybe it's to the media, maybe it's to the Baltimore Ravens, maybe it's to other organizations. But props to him for, one, I think the biggest thing is he's trying to boost his following on YouTube, right? We've seen it. The social media, the YouTube channels of prolific NFL players and even okay NFL players has been pretty big. You see Juju's, gotten on that train. Michael Pittman, has done that very well. He did it at USC with his girlfriend. Now he still has it. You see Isaac Rochelle, with the social media. And now you just see more and more people popping up with these social medias, and they do these like behind the scenes stuff. You see it a lot in basketball where it's like they'll put out a weekly video. It's like, hey, here's me getting ready for this game, and kind of quick talks rather than it being from the team. So it could be just him trying to get that brand out there. He's a savvy guy. He knows what he's doing. But overall, it's just like, I don't think a lot's going to come out of it. I don't think we're going to come out of it and he's saying, I don't want to be a Raven. I don't think he's going to go in there saying, I want this in my contract. He may say something about the 133 and may bring up the media, like trying to paint him as bad. Like that may be something brought up. But Joshua, are there any topics you think he'll even attempt to discuss at all?
I think the whole process of him in the draft and him, being asked to change positions, things of that nature may possibly be brought up too. So because I think he was asked about, I think you mentioned it about being in the West Coast offense and things of that nature. So he could possibly talk about that rookie year, just of experience, how that was, because we all thought, I definitely believe that he was a first rounder, and and it's going to be a forever iconic picture in his career of him with his head laying down and his mom consoling him at the draft night. And everybody, thought he was just going to, be still sitting there, not picked in the first round. And the Ravens, Ozzie Newsome made a move to get back in the first round and, got Lamar Jackson before ending his tenure as general manager for the Ravens. So, I definitely feel like it'll be something, talking about his process, talking about how people doubted him and things of that nature. And just what's the next steps, what's to become, for Lamar Jackson. Because, obviously Lamar Jackson is showing that he's just more than just, football. Like I said, and like how you brought up the guys, doing things outside of the game of sports. Look at Von Miller with, Call of Duty. Sauce is he's pretty much he partners up and plays with T Grizzly with GTA and does Call of Duty with one with the guys, things of that nature. So even Hollywood, he does GTA and Call of Duty and Madden, things of that nature. So you got these guys going. They having fun, but they also putting their brands out there because they realize that they're not going to be in the NFL for long, or they're not going to be playing the sport for long. But they already they're making chess moves for their future, for their life. And honestly, if you're not doing that, then I'm not going to say shame on you, but shame on you. Sometimes you got plans for steps ahead, because if Lamar Jackson doesn't play on this franchise tag, he's going to have to be doing a lot more business ventures, point blank, something to still earn money.
And I want to say this right now. I don't think
Mhm.
the Players Association has made one single effect in the Lamar Jackson contract negotiations. I don't. I know
Mhm.
people bring it up. It's brought up because they're trying to push something. I don't think anybody is swaying Lamar one way or another. I think he came into the NFL. The reason he didn't get an agent was he knew how he wanted his money,
Yeah.
and he's stuck with it. And a lot of people are pushing this narrative that the Players Association is trying to force him to do all of this. And it's like, dude, if the Ravens can't get him to do something, why would the Players Association be able to do it? He knows what he wants. And like, I don't know, stubborn's not the right word because it has a bad connotation, but he is, I'll say adamant in the type of contract that he wants. And the Players Association may be pushing for the same thing and maybe pushing for something slightly different, but I don't think it's pushing Lamar Jackson away or closer to the contract negotiation and the number that they're going to end up settling on. I think it's just they're there. It's like the hype man that doesn't actually do anything. And he's
Yeah.
just kind of there's like, yeah, man, you got him. You got him. It's like, bro, you can leave. You're not affecting this negotiation whatsoever. People just see that guy and they're like, oh man, he's forcing him in the bad way. It's like, or Lamar just knows what he wants, and the Ravens haven't offered that. And he's saying, hey, I'm only going to sign if you offer this. That doesn't mean the player association is involved. Doesn't mean they're not trying to help him. But he also may be like, I don't want your help. And I think that this narrative of the Players Association and trying to like pin them as the bad guy, there's no
Uh-huh.
bad guy in contract negotiations. It's whether or not they
You can get a deal
accept the
done.
deal. It's
Yeah.
not about, oh man, who's trying to get him, to do all these things. Because the Players Association is trying to help him, but also, bro, they don't need to. Like, he doesn't need to listen to them. I don't think he is listening to them because Lamar, guys, I'm going to tell you guys something. Lamar doesn't care. He doesn't care what outside people say about him, about his life, about his contract, about the way he plays football, about his business ventures. He wants to be Lamar Jackson. If NFL scouts and coaches and organizations told him coming out into or even college and they said, hey, man, why don't you not be a quarterback? You're going to have more success doing it. If they couldn't convince Lamar to play a different position, do you really think the Players Association is going to be the one that says, well, you could get a little bit more money if you do this? Bro, Lamar's not doing that. Lamar's not just like listening to some sway vote. It's like,
Mhm.
no, he's adamant about what he wants to do. He's coming out of high school, and a lot of teams are like, no, we don't want to put you a quarterback. And he goes, nah, sorry. All right, I'll go somewhere else. I'll go to Louisville. I think Florida offered him a deal or
And it
a
was going like,
scholarship, but it wasn't to play quarterback his freshman year.
yeah, I think it's going to be like either third or second string.
Yeah, it was like development. He's like, no, I want to play early. Like if a high-powered SEC school can't convince you to do this, do you think the Players Association, which doesn't do a lot for superstars, it helps the Players Association is for the lower end players. I say lower end, they're superstars, like they're NFL players. But like, do we really need to think that the Players Association is somehow skewing Lamar? Like, I don't think they're doing anything. And I don't think that's good or bad.
I mean, I don't think they're playing a big role, but I do, feel like, due to the advisement that he probably is receiving or seeking, whether it's from, his team of lawyers or the NFLPA, when you have someone, let me rephrase this. When it comes down to any man or woman knowing their worth, when they feel like their value is, top tier. Honestly, we have been spoiled for the past 5 years since, Lamar Jackson has taken over the helm. EDC and Steve Bisciotti has been very spoiled with the high end play, that Lamar Jackson has brought, when he's came on the field. I know he's been hurt, towards the end of the season, the last 2 seasons, but before he went down, he had the Ravens and company at the top of the AFC North, arguably a playoff team before things went downhill. So you can't be mad at anyone for knowing their worth or feeling like they hold their value so high. So I mean, you're definitely right, McConaughey. He's very adamant. We don't know the numbers per se that Lamar Jackson is giving them, to meet. But clearly, someone that feels like they brought an organization from damn near a dying situation, feel like he should get paid. Of course, we all, real Ravens fans, people that really do want Lamar Jackson to see, want him to get paid, want him to be a Raven forever. McConnell and myself included, we want him to be a Ravens forever. Y'all hearing it today on the live stream because, I think, was it last live stream? People say we don't want Lamar here. No, it's not that we don't want Lamar here. We understand that it's a business. At the end of the day, no matter how much we love our favorite teams. I mean, hell, I know McConnell, is a big OKC Thunder fan, and he was hurt when KD left. I know he still roots for KD, but at the end of the day, he still loved the Thunder.
Exactly. Shout out to the Thunder. They won tonight. They beat Christopher Paul.
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Overrated Devin Booker. All the good things were happening today. KD didn't play, so that's chilling. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, I think everyone wants to get involved and everyone wants to say they had a part of something that they didn't, right? Kendrick Perkins likes to talk about like how he was a big part of the NBA. It's like, yeah, like you were there, but did you ever do anything, right?
Bro, he talks like he contributed like Rondo. Like, cut it out.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, like, yeah, you played. Like, Players Association. You gave advice. Whether or not, like, here's the thing. I could go in to whether, let's say it's school or work or maybe you're even, playing basketball, you're playing football, and you go in and you say, maybe you're playing video games on the couch. Here's a great example. You're playing video games on the couch, you're playing Madden, and you know that the B receiver is going to be open, right? So you snap the ball, and some guy behind you, this is the Players Association, they yell, B, and then you throw it to B. It's like, bro, I was already going to throw it to B, and now they're going to go around talking like, oh, man, without me, you would never have hit B. You would have never been able to do that without me. It's like, dude, we were doing that anyway. You just happened to yell so that people could notice you. Like the Players Association, I think, is just yelling to get people to think they're doing something so that if he gets a big contract, they look really good. I think that's the only thing that's happening. Like, obviously they're saying things, they're giving him advice. But like, what do you think the advice, like, what are they telling him? Hey, you should go for a fully guaranteed deal. And Lamar's like, I know. That's what I'm doing. Like that, them telling him that is not changing anything. He's like, he already wanted that. Maybe they're saying, hey man, you got to stand your ground. And he's like, yeah, I know. And everyone's making it seem like they're just forcing him to stand his ground. It's like, they're not forcing him to do anything. He's doing exactly what he wants to do.
I mean, and we talked about it so many times, at a job, if you've been in a job for years and you're ready to talk about promotion, if you're ready to, step into a new role of leadership, or you're trying to negotiate your increase in your salary wages, when you show your body of work to, your boss, director, whoever the case may be, your boss or director have a couple options. Either they match your requests of your increased wages, or they find someone else to take your spot. Right now, the Baltimore Ravens don't have anyone else that can take Lamar Jackson's spot. And if people holler out, Snoop, that's not it. Now, if you want to talk about, possibly going, even 500 or a little below 500, I say put Anthony Brown in. Maybe Stetson Bennett goes undrafted, and the Ravens find a way to go pick him up. But the thing is, we always talk about Lamar Jackson's contract, and I know the Ravens have to keep space for money, but you guys are still not doing anything to make it appealing for Lamar Jackson to even want to sign, this franchise tag, or even, speak on wanting to play this year for the Baltimore Ravens. Y'all have not made any moves, and I know the Ravens don't make moves early, but it's so many other wide receivers under the age of 30 that could be possibly developed under a Tom Marcus offense. You go here, got yourself a wide receiver coach that has a pretty good, decent track record with wide receivers. You still got T. Martin at the helm. And I believe we still have Keith Williams at Owens Mills as well. Three guys that has worked with superstar or got superstar production out of wide receivers. And we haven't brought anyone in yet. But we reached out to a corner though. Great job, guys. Great job.
Yeah. Shout out to
Rock
what's his
Yatsen.
name?
Rock Yatsen.
Rock Yassin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Second round pick by the Indianapolis Colts. Was with the Raiders last year. He got injured after, I want to say 7 games. It might have been a little bit more games he played. But, overall, this offseason, we knew it wasn't going to be drastic. It wasn't going to be anything crazy. And it's funny because I feel like I see a lot of Ravens fans getting really upset.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, man, the Ravens aren't doing anything. And it's like, we knew they weren't going to do anything because they don't have any money. Right? Like, we had money going into last season. And what did we do? We got Roquan and we extended Roquan. And that was smart. And now we've extended and now we've franchise tagged Lamar Jackson. So he's under contract. And so it's like, okay, that's what we needed to do. The reason it's not like the Ravens were going into this offseason with the Bears money. Like the Bears had a ton of money. They had like $100 million.
Yeah.
And they've made a lot of signings. It's like, oh man, they're going crazy. Why aren't the Ravens doing anything? We can't. The Ravens didn't design this offseason. That's how you do it. You design your off seasons to be, all right, this is the year we go get our money, right? This is the year we spend all our money on our players. That's not this offseason. It was kind of last offseason where we had a little bit of money and the expectation was, hey, maybe if we extend Lamar, if we extend Lamar, we can create cap space. That's the only way that we can really create any cap, work with cap because, you can make money, oh, well, we restructured this contract, made $1 million, signed somebody. But next year, we can make a lot of signings. I think we're going to have a lot more cap space next year. I'm actually going to look at it right now.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be up like either like 12, maybe 10 million.
So next season, 2024, the Ravens have $81 million in cap space. And that does not include Lamar Jackson contract. Let's say we extend Lamar to a $53 million cap hit next year, which first of all, quarterback cap hits are never $53 million. What they do is they restructure it, and it's typically closer to 30. And the Ravens already have under contract for next year. This is when we have the big cap hit. They have Ronnie, Marlon Humphrey, Mark Andrews, Roquan Smith, Marcus Williams, Tyus Bowdger, Makari, Morgan Moses, Kevin Zeitler, Patrick Ricard, Kyle Hamilton, Bateman, Michael Pierce, Adafe, Tyler Linderbaum, Gus Edwards, David Ojabo. Let's see. Geno Stone, it looks like we have. Anthony Brown. We got pieces. Now, obviously, you want to add Lamar Jackson into that, but next year's the year to spend money. And that's the expectation.
Right.
This year is hey, let's keep our team, re-sign key pieces like Roquan, and obviously the attempt is to re-sign Lamar, but we can't get upset if the Ravens aren't making big signings. Could we get Odell? Maybe, but
at what cost though? I'd rather if Odell is available around week 7, hey, you still want to play?
Yeah, and he said he doesn't want a $4 million contract. People were reporting that he wanted $20 million, and he was like, "That's not true. The only thing I've said is I don't want 4." So, the Ravens could potentially have it, but it's just we'll see. We'll see what the Ravens do, but this isn't going to be a big offseason for the Ravens. And Adit just said that Adam Thielen signed to the Panthers. That's a good signing for them. Shout out to the Carolina Panthers for that one. I like what they're doing over in Carolina. I like the full rebuild.
Yeah, they build it.
But just okay, we'll see. We'll see how things go. And next year we'll retool. And next year's a really good draft class. You want a wide receiver? Marvin Harrison Jr. is maybe the best wide receiver prospect in the last 10 years. You want a quarterback? Well, you got Caleb Williams, right? You got May. If you want, there's some good running backs as well. There's E.J. Smith. Now, I don't think E.J. Smith's going to be a first-round pick, but he could be, a fourth-round pick, a fifth-round pick or something like that. There's a lot of different players, a lot of different positions that you can make an impact with. And the Ravens will be able to sign free agents next year. And this also, guys, this free agency class sucks. Like there's a couple of pieces. It's like Orlando Brown, good piece. Lamar was obviously a good piece, but the quarterbacks all got re-signed. Like Daniel Jones got re-signed. Derek Carr got cut, so he wasn't an expected free agent. Like this was not a big free agency class. So we can't keep getting upset at the Ravens not making moves when it's like, what moves were there to be made? Like, what do we want the Ravens to do? I mean, like the Ravens could sign a wide receiver, but the free agency wide receiver class kind of sucks. Like
a lot of developmental guys, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah. It's like, why not just draft someone?
That's
And Lisa, what's your take on Schefter leaking 133 million? I don't think it's that bad because that was the offer that the Ravens made last year. That's what the offer was. And shout out to Michigan State. They just got a big steal and transition dunk for the upset. So
yikes.
Go Spartans. Sorry, Marquette. I had you losing to Michigan State. But overall, like it's just like this was a big offseason for organizational changes rather than personnel changes, right? Change offensive coordinator, get a new quarterback coach, wide receiver coach, players conditioning coach, strength and conditioning coach.
I think we need a D-line coach now.
Yeah, now we need a D-line coach. Our guy went to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Did we get a cornerback coach too? I know we lost a guy.
I don't think we've signed someone yet to be the corner coach.
The college to be an actual DC.
And trade Ricard. Honestly, I don't think Ricard has any trade value.
He doesn't.
Like even a 7th. Like honestly, it's like I think it's more likely that the Ravens just would cut him over trading him because I don't think anybody's trading for a fullback anyway. Because if you want a fullback, that is the most replaceable position in the NFL. It's not hard to get a good fullback. Fullback is purely based on scheme.
Yeah, you got to. At this point, you really have to be a hybrid to make it in this league. That's why Kyle Juszczyk has made it this long. If we're being completely honest, that's my guy.
Yeah, it's just gonna be like, all right, let's see what's going on with the Ravens. But this is a retooling year, and the hope is you have Lamar Jackson, you can try and make a run at the championship. That's it. If it doesn't work out, if Lamar Jackson doesn't want to resign, then maybe we go after a new quarterback next year when the quarterback draft class is, I think, better. I don't think this is a very good quarterback draft class. I think it's a lot better than last year.
Yeah.
But when you think good quarterback draft class, I think back to 2018 was good. When Lamar got drafted, I think 2020 was also very good. I think 2020 was Burrow, Herbert, Tua, and Hurts. Very good.
Tua's little brother will be in the upcoming draft class as well.
Ooh, yeah. Shout out to Tualia. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I may be wrong on that. Tualia Tagovailoa. That's tough. And Lisa, I fully trust Adam Schefter's info. Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport, if they put out numbers, they're real. Like they are like, unless they say within an hour, hey, no, I'm sorry, I got that one wrong. Those guys are right 99% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they are like, it's so certain that those, like, that's why they're in that position, right? That's why they're hired by ESPN, is because those are the guys, right? It's not, even though they're right sometimes, it's not Jeremy Fowler. It's not Josina Anderson, right? They're good. They're not right every time, though. Schefter and Rappaport have sources in every single organization that are very high up. Like some of them, and now I know people that have been sources. I can't say for what team. It's not in the NFL though, so I wish. But they like, I've talked to them, or at least I've talked to people that know them, and they're like, how they get it is like they're friends with the GM, or they know the guy that's best friend is the GM, and so it's like he's like talking, with the with the GM having lunch, and then he texts his buddy, he goes, "Hey man, don't release this right now. This is what's going on. We're looking to trade for, in football terms, we're looking to trade for DJ Moore." And then they would be able to say, okay, what time can I release this? They're like, I'm thinking like 7:00. you can say that. I'll let you be first. Like, that's how it works. They have someone in every organization at the highest level, and it could legitimately be the GM. They text players. They have friends that are players. Gronk's retirement, he was texting like a buddy. Like, he met a guy, and he became his source. And he was like, he met a guy at a party, and one time he got his number, and then Gronk texted him out of the blue and goes, "Hey, man, I'm retiring. You can have the story." And the guy goes, "What?" Probably launched his career right there. He's huge. So, like, sources are very good. I fully trust them. But Joshua, do you have anything final to talk about? I know we weren't going to too long of a stream today. So anything else you want to bring up?
I did want to ask you, did you hear about the story behind the Bears general manager? How everything like really became full circle for him. Like, he started off as a Bear officer. I think it was like offensive tackle, offensive guard, like in the early 2000s. He was an undrafted rookie, and now he ended up being the general manager years later.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize I forgot Ryan Poles was the GM of the Bears. Yeah,
I said, yo, that's crazy, man. Like, when you hear stuff like that, you know how things come into full fruition, and now you're making some big moves,
Sounds like Kamar Aiken, future Ravens GM.
Either Laquan Williams, Baltimore,
Marlon would be a great GM. Come to the Ravens, everybody.
Michael Campanaro.
Oh my gosh, no! Get Michael Campanaro out of this organization. But for everybody in the stream, we got 127 people in here. We're doing a giveaway on Apple Podcasts once we hit 50 reviews. If half the people in this room go into Apple Podcasts, you don't even have to write anything up. If you have an Apple account, you just hit the 5 stars.
5.
We would prefer 5. If you hit 1, it counts, but we would prefer 5. We'll be doing a giveaway once we hit that. We're doing a jersey giveaway. So anybody is interested in that, this will also be posted on the podcast platform. So any listeners, make sure to go check it out over there. Subscribe for Daily Ravens content. Mock Draft Monday is tomorrow. Super excited. We'll see when that Lamar Jackson contract news comes out. But thank you all. We'll see all of you again next time.